This is the Dania Beach City Commission regular meeting. It is Tuesday, June 11th, 2019, and it is 7 p.m. Can you please call the roll?
Mayor Llewellyn.
Here.
Vice Mayor Odman.
Here.
Commissioner Brandemart.
Here.
Commissioner Harris.
Here.
Commissioner James. City Manager Garcia.
Here.
City Attorney Ansbro.
Here.
Thank you.
Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Our next presentation is the presentation of City's Comprehensive Annual Fiscal Report for fiscal year 2018 by HCT Certified Public Accountants and Consultants, LLC. Please make sure you give us your name and address.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, City Clerk, City Attorney. Greetings. My name is Roderick Harvey, partner with HCT. I also have with me our Audit Manager, Thomas Williams III. HCT is the CPA firm of record for the City of Dania Beach. We are here to present the audit results for the year ended September 30, 2018. We will go through a short presentation that will involve the audit opinion, a financial summary, a comparison of where we ended in 2017 as compared to where we landed in 2018, and then we will go through our management letter comments. I want to say before we begin, in this audit there was a lot of direct involvement by me. We believe that our audit results have a few things for your consideration. And again, we want to thank upfront staff, finance directors, and also we did 5 interviews I did with key management. And so we want to thank those guys for working with us. With that being said, based on our audit results, we are issuing an unqualified opinion, which is a clean opinion, which basically means that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the city, again, as of September 30, 2018. To delve into the numbers, and you can find a reference in your CAFR, which I was told was provided to you a day or so ago, and so hopefully you have stayed up and read it from front to cover, but if not, you can reference these pages. General fund total assets, 36.3 million, total liabilities, 4.5, total fund balance, 31.7, and unassigned fund balance, 21.6. Looking at all funds together, again, this is on page 21, 22, total assets, 44.1, total liabilities, 5.4, total fund balance, 38.7, and unassigned fund balance, 21.5. Looking at the city's proprietary funds or business type funds, which you can find on page 27 and 28, total assets 71.3, deferred outflows 1.8, total liabilities 24.8, deferred inflows 991,000, and the net position for our proprietary funds at the period ended September 30, 2018, 47.3 million. Looking at what we call the sexy statement, which is your money coming in and your money going out, which you can find on page 24, revenues for the period 50.6, expenditures 50.4, which gives an increase in fund balance of 3.8 million. Looking at all funds together, total revenues 55.3, total expenditures 56.2, and that leaves a positive change in fund balance of 2.5 million. Moving over to the proprietary funds or the business type funds, total operating revenue 18.2 million, operating expenses 11.5, non-operating revenues a little over 200,000, income before transfers 6.9 million, net transfers a decrease of 3.4, but we still have a positive change in net position of $5.3 million. One of the things that I like to do at these presentations is, again, to talk about where did we end the year before as compared to the most recent year end. So if you look at fund balance, we ended in 17 at 36.1 as compared to 38.7, which gives a positive variance of 2.5. Looking at our revenues, 46.6 for the year 17 as compared to 15.3 for the same period in 18, which gives a positive 18.59%. Expenditure, we expended $52 million in 2017, and in 2018 we expended 56.2. So that grew by 6.56%. Looking at our proprietary funds, net position at the end of 17, 43.8 compared to 47.3 in 18. Again, a positive variance of 3.5 million. The revenue comparison you can see was relatively flat with a change or a delta of 686,000 or 3.9%. And also you can see that expenses for the proprietary funds was flat, as it represents a small decrease of 7.9%, or in dollars, a small change, a delta of 91,000. Based on our testing and our results, we have placed in the audit report several what we would call management letter recommendation. These are things for you as a commission to consider through the manager to implement as best as you feel, and we will present those tonight. Our first comment deals with employee annual evaluation. The city does not have a formal process for employees to receive an annual evaluation. Our recommendation, we recommend that the city institute an annual employee evaluation process during fiscal 2019. Our second recommendation deals with cash handling procedures for Parks and Rec. The city's Parks and Rec department should have a manual for cash handling procedures that includes the various type of transactions that may be encountered. We recommend that the finance department implement through the elected and appointed officials a cash handling procedure, cash handling manual during the 2019 period. Number 3, the city clerk office operates a detached system of accepting payments for lobbyist registration. We recommend that the finance department implement, again through management and the elected officials, a manual, a procedure to make sure that those transactions are handled appropriately through the clerk's office. Our next comment relates to the info technology as it relates to online registrations for lobbyists. We detected a gap where a lobbyist may be able to register more than one client for any period, which is in contradiction of one of your ordinances. And so we recommend that the city institute a module or upgrade or a patch to eliminate the ability of any lobbyist to be able to register more than one client for what they paid for. Our next recommendation or best practice consideration is the monthly and quarterly year-end closing checklist that the finance department uses. We noted that that was not signed off by initiator or reviewer, so we recommend that the city's finance department institute a practice on their month-end or quarter-end statement that the initiator sign off, the reviewer sign off, and a department head sign off with a date on each, and those forms should be retained in accordance with the records maintained by the city clerk. Accounting disclosure checklist. The city finance department does not use an updated accounting and disclosure checklist as relates to their financials. We recommend, again, as a best practice, that the finance department institute an accounting and disclosure checklist for all year-end reporting. This comment, which is our comment number 7, we noted this as a material weakness. It falls around the human resources files of employees. We tested those files, 50% of new hires, 80% of newly terminated, employees. We also looked at 28 active and current files and noted some errors in those files. And so we recommend that all employee files are reviewed and all noted correction actions are taken during the 2018 period to ensure that all required HR documents that are associated with that personnel file are in the personnel file. Moving on to our next recommendation, the legal department selects various law firms to represent the city or to handle certain business without a formal vetting process. We recommend that all legal vendors are required to follow or institute a routine or vetting process just as if any other good or service as hired by the city. Getting almost done. Our last comment, our second to last comment, number 8, involves the procurement process, and that vendors or bidders should receive a notice of award and a notice to proceed for every formal bidding process once it has concluded. So we recommend that the city institute or implement a notice of award and a notice to proceed letters, documentation for all procurements starting with the 2019 period and going forward. Our next recommendation, the city's procurement should follow all city policies and RFQs as issued to avoid any irregularities. We recommend that the city implement procedural steps and guidelines to ensure adherence by all involved staff of all city policies and procurement standards are maintained at all times, coupled with the objectivity of that RFQ. That concludes, Mayor, our presentation to you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. If the Mayor will so allow, we will do our very best to entertain any questions you may have. If we cannot answer those questions, we will reply by email with answers at a later time.
Commissioner Brandemarty?
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for making the font be a good size. Usually when we get numbers up there, you can't even see them. So I say you did a good job on that. And second of all, I like that when you brought up the problems that we had in the finance department, that you didn't just give us a problem, you gave us a solution, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
That's it.
Vice Mayor?
On the slide about errors, I don't need you to go too much into it, but when you refer to errors in the HR files, what's an example of an error? I was unclear as to what you meant by that.
Very good. So, and I'm just going to give some basic ones. Every file should have a W-4 filled out and signed. The city also has a code of ethics that should be signed and filled out. Also, there's other documents with the pay rate, with the job description. Those things should be reviewed and signed off so that if in the future there are any disputes, we have our documentation, and also, number one, we have it, and also signed off by said employee.
How many of the files did you say didn't have them? Had some sort of error?
So again, remember, we audit based on sampling. We tested, I want to say, 70-some files, but we tested it by strata. So we looked at old employees, terminated, new and active. Where we would have looked at those would be, I think we looked at 28 new and active, or current and active, I'm saying it wrong, employees. And so 7 out of 28 contained errors. So that's a 25% error rate. And then the new hires was 3 out of 6, which was a 50% error rate as noted.
That was of new hires, you said? That
We only tested 6.
you only had 6 new hires as a sample set?
Well, we selected 6. There could have been more, but we selected 6. And of those 6, 3 of them, which is 50%, we noted errors.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Commissioner Harris?
Mr. Harvey, thank you for a thorough audit. Thank you both. I think those of us up here that have been in healthcare know that it's as thorough as a JCO audit in a hospital and an institution. So it shows to our investors and our potential investors that we're fully accredited and that we can meet the needs of the public in their best interest. So I thank you for a very thorough audit. And I mean, for those of people in the audience, the total audit report is 147 pages. So anyway, it's a public record, so anybody's free to read it if you like. Thank you.
Commissioner James?
Yes, thank you as well for this audit and all of this information on ways that we can better ourselves and self-govern ourselves. I did have one question. What do the files in HR have to do with finances?
Okay, good question. So I'm going to answer it on two levels.
Well, as long as I can understand it.
I hope so. One level of auditing is based on internal controls. That's your policies and procedures, which says, here is what we're going to do. So if we have a document in HR that says every employee should have 20 pieces of paper signed off by them and signed off by a supervisor or HR person, we will sample test those 20 as a control mechanism to make sure here's what we say we are going to do, what did we do. Our thing is to show how wide is that gap. Is the gap really wide or small? So that's one level of auditing or testing, which will have, over time, a direct effect on your financials. But it doesn't immediately. It's just your controls. It's how you make sure that what you do is correct. The second level of controls is to test the actual payroll of employees to see if they are paid correctly, to see if they are paid in accordance to their increases, their salary, accrual testing. That testing was done by Mr. Thomas, and in that testing, we did not find any errors. So what we note to you is that the controls or the policies over the HR files should be shored up. So that's why we did not issue a financial condition or a financial comment as relates to payroll or salaries, because we did not find errors that directly affected the financial or the numbers as it relates to salary, payroll, PTO, those type of things. So I hope I've answered your question relatively.
No.
I haven't. Okay.
No, but this is something that I can email you about and probably sit down and get more clarification. This is like Chinese. Got it.
Well, one thing that I can say, with those controls, we rely on that for everything else. So if we see something wrong on one side, then we know that we need to pay more attention to everything else. So finding those types of errors in one section, that gives us a heads up to maybe other sections are lacking. And so maybe we find something on the financial side. So that's why we go through that testing, and that's why we note that.
Look forward to your comment on your email.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you for preparing this for us and providing it to us. First of all, there are management responses to each of the recommendations, correct? That's not up there. That's just part of the report that we have. I want to direct this to the city manager. A lot of the issues involving the employee files and that sort of thing, that there are now policies in place or procedures in place, is that correct?
Absolutely. And I want to remind everybody that this audit is to September of 2018. So past administration, past team, a couple of you weren't even sitting here. But yes, absolutely. Even before I had a meeting with the auditor, we were addressing these things based on my assessments and my meetings with the finance department.
Okay. And that was the other comment I was going to make. This is from end of the fiscal year in 2018,
That's
correct?
correct.
So
Yes,
even the
ma'am.
numbers that you have up there may have since changed.
No, they should have changed.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, they have changed.
Because there has been different revenue and expenditures that have come in, so the actual numbers that are up there would not be the same today if you went and looked at the books today.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you audit the city general employees pension plan?
Yes, we did.
Okay. For purpose of auditing that, did you request the employee files for the individuals that are in that pension plan?
The samples that we would look at, we would do a representative. So the employees' files that we looked at, we would match them to our testing.
Okay, so do you know, I mean, Does that mean then that you did not look at all of the employees in that plan, or you only looked at a sample of them?
We would only look at a sample.
Okay. Do you know how many you looked at in total, or in comparison to the total number?
I would have to go back and look to see how many.
Okay.
We selected over, I'm just going to say 70 as a general number. We selected 70 of the, I want to say, current 170 or 140 some active employees of the city for our sample testing.
Okay.
And so most of those should have also applied, some of those would have also applied to the general employees testing.
Is that something you could provide me in an email later?
Yes?
Okay, that's fine. That's really all the questions that I have for you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good
Anybody
question.
else? No? Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Next up is the Dania Beach Chamber of Commerce update by Randy Shane.
Good evening, Madam Manager, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Just want to thank you all for your continued support and partnership with the Dania Beach Chamber. We had one of our most successful events on June 1st, which was our annual Hurricane Code Red Expo. According to BSO, we had over 300 attendees. We had over 38 vendors. We had Robert Molita from NOAA, who actually in his comments stated that we actually have the best Hurricane Expo in South Florida, which was a huge kudo to all of us and our team. I'd like to thank Katia and also Raphael, because I could not have done this all alone. Look forward to next year, and thank you all so much.
Thank you, Randy. Next item is special event request from Neptune TNT Fireworks to install temporary canopies during their annual fireworks sale from June 13, 2019 until July 11, 2019 at 768 East Dania Beach Boulevard, Dania Beach, Florida. Are there any issues with this?
No, Mayor, we recommend.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. We have no proclamations tonight. So next up is citizen comments. Vivek Golakari? Please state your name and address, and you'll be limited to 3 minutes.
301 Southeast 3rd Street. Basically, I'd like to say that we need community service, new laws imposing community service and fines for nonviolent offenses. Laws without penalties are a laughing stock. Police are heroes, they do their best, but without appropriate laws, they can't do anything. Sometimes I feel ashamed to call the cops because I know all they're going to do is to tell somebody to stop it, and they'll stop for a while and start again. We need either community service or a $100 fine or something. Noise pollution, urinating in public, reckless traffic, littering, trespassing. The world has changed. The days are gone when Mama and Papa straightened you out. I'm sorry to have to say this, but government has to step in. And if people behave disrespectfully, either they're going to have to pay out of their pocket or they're going to have to clean the bathroom in Olson Middle School or something. When people realize that you can't just spit in the face of authority or the common good without paying some kind of penalty, they'll be forced to take the law seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic. Next is, and I'm sorry, I can't read the handwriting, is it Alina and Brad Capuzzo? Please state your name and address, and you'll be limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Brad Capuzzo, this is my wife Alina. We're building a house right now at 4437 Southwest 25th Terrace, across from Dania Cove Park. We're nearing our build is coming to an end, thank God. So we took it upon ourselves to contact here Chris at the Dania here, and she referred us to the commissioners, and we have sent out an email yesterday. And first and foremost, Mayor, in case you didn't know, most everyone replied within a day, which was wow, really impressive. Not only did they reply, but they also took action. And I thought that was amazing, so I wanted you to know, in case you did not, that they did all of that. So, great team. The email that if you all did not have, and I do have some extra pictures here to show you, I don't know if you have not seen them, anybody had not opened them up, but we have some additional ones. There's a real big issue on 25th Terrace and the Dania Cove Park. The road floods, and it floods, literally, our house had to be built up 3 feet off the road, and it floods halfway up our road, and we don't have a yard yet. So our front yard, our front area is halfway flooded. And the park itself is built up much higher than the road. So when the rains come, it's down the hill at the end, it floods out, and the lowest part is at the park. The park is maintained as a water retention area. However, it's higher than the road, so the water doesn't travel uphill, and we have an issue. So given I have a low riding car, it's a BMW, so it's very low, I can't drive my car to my house when it rains heavy. So I have to park at the top of the hill. Having that, we're one of the higher end houses in Dania Beach right now, as far as price, it's kind of, ridiculous. So we came to you, and again, we reached out to you, and Tamara was the one that, sent it out. I met with Eric right away from the Parks Department. He came out today. I mean, a really, again, very impressive response from almost everyone here and from them. So what are we trying to do here is to get 2 things. We have people loitering in the park at night, okay? They're sleeping in the park. They have tents. They sleep, and the homeless people sleep. We have drugs being sold and or used in the park, and there's evidence on the floor. My 2-year-old grandson comes to the park. That's unsafe. And, of course, the flooding, as I mentioned. So the things that we're asking you for and that people are already starting to address is that the BSO actually go into the park. We've asked for the hedge to be removed. There's a hedge on half of the fence, as I noted in the pictures that I sent out. And so so half of it has shrubs and the other half doesn't. Well, where they're hiding is behind where the shrubs are. So if we have those removed, that would be great help. Also, that the grading of the park could then either be raise the road or lower the park, one way or the other. And the engineers, Eric said he's going to work with the engineers to try to get that addressed. I don't know how long.
You're out of time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you very much. City Manager, I know I sent this email to you as well. And I know some of these issues I think we're going to be able to address with the Parks Master Plan.
Absolutely. I got it from you. I got it from Commissioner James, Commissioner Harris, everybody actually.
Yeah.
And we responded immediately. Gentlemen, my cell phone number. We deployed our police chief over there to really take a look at the area from a septet perspective. Eric was deployed to look at the drainage. So all hands on deck in regards to this.
Yeah, just wanted, thank you.
It's an ongoing problem in that part of, in that neighborhood as well.